everybody, and welcome here to another Kerfuffle showcase. And I'm absolutely delighted and indeed excited to be inviting Tim Glynn on today from Adodo Consultancy. Hello, Tim. How are you?
Hi, Simon. I'm not too bad at all, thanks. You know, I wish the weather was a bit better, but we can't have everything, can we?
It's changing soon. If you're watching this in July, don't worry. This was earlier in the year. But anyway, yes, it's good stuff is coming. Good stuff is coming, Tim. We're talking here today. Adodo Consultancy is the holding company, but we're launching. Really excited to have you guys launching on our website the ConversePop tool, Tim, isn't it? And could you just the title of the webinar is going to be "Let's Start a Conversation." Just give us some context around that, if you can do, Tim, and just say, look, you know, what's ConversePop all about?
Well, thanks, Simon. I mean, ConversePop is a simple little tool. It's our latest tool to personalize your website.
Okay.
I mean, the problem with that we find with websites is that in general, you don't have much time when people visit your website.
No.
In fact, one of the latest stats that we hear from Facebook, for example, is that you've got the time it takes to scroll. So, you know, as you scroll with your thumb, that's about as much time as you've got to capture somebody's imagination when they visit your site. And that's because the majority of visits are done on the mobile these days.
Yes, of course, yeah.
Yeah. So so ConversePop is a simple little tool designed to take or to capture the visitor's attention and then lead them to where you want them to go. What action do you want them to take next when a visitor, you know, lands on your page? That's the idea of ConversePop. Quite simple.
Good, and all the best, obviously all the best concepts are really, aren't they, as well? So, I mean, totally echoing what you said, one of the stats we were talking about before was, you know, with shorter attention spans, you say marketers only have 2.7 seconds to get the attention of their audience, which of course is what you're just highlighting there with that scroll. And I mean, I'm pretty sure that most people watching this will resonate with that themselves, won't they? It's actually pretty brutal out there, isn't it, in terms of how sharp a moment you have to get people to do what you want them to do. Well,
there's so much information that people are looking for these days, that and you know, the amount of new material that's going onto the web every single day, you can understand why it's difficult to get people's attention. So every small element that you can add to that will help in that battle, yeah, is really what you need. It's just another little tool. As I said, it's a piece of your armory. We're all in a battle these days.
Well, it is, isn't it? And unfortunately, at the moment, there's a real one going on, isn't there? But I mean, in terms of the marketing sense, it's actually exactly the same. As if you aren't able to outgun your opponent there, aren't you? You're going to get ignored. Is the truth of the matter. I mean, marketers and website companies, they talk about CTAs, that famously the call to action there. And what I love about your proposition is that it just means you can't miss it, doesn't it? You know, we're not talking about some kind of like, you know, we're searching for your URL or the, you know, the overly done fill in this form box or anything else here. Your proposition actually pops up as a sort of, how would you describe it? Because it's a personal want essentially, isn't it? There, an avatar. It's not an avatar, it's a recording actually, isn't it? Of whatever you want to get across.
It's a recording, and it's the beauty about it, I think, is that you first see it's animated.
Yeah.
You know, there are tools out there. There's live chat widgets and other kinds of widgets, but they're static.
Yeah.
And with ours, because of the video and because the widget itself has a little GIF in the corner there, when you visit the page, you can't miss it, really, because, you know, we're waving at you, you know, and then in fact you can actually have it where it opens automatically. Right. But you know, I think that's for a specific purpose. But in the main, we have it little sitting there in the bottom.
Yeah, you have to just be a bit sparing, don't you, with that auto pop-up there. That's, some people can get a little bit annoyed, but in the right time, the right place, that's a really, again, it's a really powerful part of that website kit bag you've got.
Yeah, it's an option, but it's I was going to use the term nuclear option, but again, I don't think that's the right term
Oh no, no.
in the world that we're living in.
I'm touching wood over here now, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So yeah, it is an option, but I prefer to keep it nice and simple, small, so that the visitor has the option to open it, so they're invited in. And the other little thing about it is that because it's a video, it allows you as a business to put your best salesperson front and center on your website 24/7.
So that's a really critical point there. So what we're not talking about is using computer created avatars or something like that, as I mistakenly said at the beginning. This isn't about using sort of stock images or anything like this. This can be, again, the lifeblood of your company, the people who know how to sell your proposition best, actually talking on your own website. And that's a pretty big play, that, isn't it? Because I do know that, you know, most marketers, you know, much as those professional stock images might look the business, they just don't connect with the public because they feel artificial.
That's right. That's right. And you know, it could be the fact that you've got the main person of the business on the home page, but you may have different departments, and so you could be using different people in different situations throughout the website, because you're not limited to just one bubble on your site. You can have different bubbles for different departments.
So have you got it on your screen there? Are we able to just to share the screen and have a look at that then? So
sure, Sam.
That'll be a nice idea, I think, to be able to see what you're talking about there. And whilst you're loading that up, do you find that most people do have just one bubble, or is it, and then they build from there as you kind of suck it and see, or do you find yourselves just, you know, having people go large and do loads of them at once?
No, most businesses start with one bubble and see how it goes. You know, it's like everything in life. You test it first and see how best it works, because there are stats that you can have behind the bubble to show you what actions people are taking when they
so it's measurable as well, so it's not just you're not just waiting ultimately for like a, you know, an email contact form or whatever to come back. You can actually get statistics based around from the application, from the bubble itself.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, cool. Just give me a sec. There we go. So can you see that?
Certainly, yeah, got that. So we've just come through to the website, as it were. We're looking here. Let's just pretend it's an estate agency website and everything else. Yeah. And straight away, right in that corner, I can see that bubble with what's in there. Hear what Dan has to say right down there, can't I?
That's right. That's right. And then simply all you do is click on it.
Yeah.
You see here, you've got the call to actions.
Yeah. And what's nice there, and I'm looking at the one above just as I'm doing that as well. Am I right in thinking those can be different kind of actions and widgets? So I can see there's one there that's like book a table. Clearly that could be book an appraisal, I'm assuming, or something like that.
Where are you?
So I'm just looking
there on the, those are options.
Yeah.
I mean, generally, obviously, for a real estate, you wouldn't be booking a table, but
no.
These buttons here have many different options.
Okay, cool.
And in fact, there is the options are as varied as your imagination, I suppose, because as I said at the beginning, it depends where you want your visitor to go next. What's the next step? Right. So depending on the type of business, yes, they would be different. But I mean, for example, for an estate agent, it could be, you know, get your valuation. For a restaurant, as you said, it could be book a table or what's the menu, etc., etc. So all these are clickable links.
Yeah. So somebody there, though, thinking about that, Tim, if they wanted to say book in a quick review call or something like that, there's no end in terms of whatever activity you're trying to drive, basically, they can present that in a nice simple button on the front of that engageable video.
Exactly. This is the start of your sales funnel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I mean about what's your next step in the sales funnel. When somebody visits your site, what is it you actually want them to do?
Yeah. And what do you think the purpose is of the website then there, Tim? Is that literally for it to be the top of the funnel to get people driving, driving leads through?
In most cases, yes. I mean, there's a specific, I think it's an interesting question you asked there, Simon, because I don't mean this of estate agents in general, but lots of businesses, they throw up a website with no thought process as to how it fits into their general sales process.
Yeah.
And so the most visited page of a site is generally the homepage.
Yeah.
So the homepage should be designed in a way that it leads the person to take the next step in that sales funnel.
Yes, agreed.
Right, and that's what I mean about the so if the call to action isn't early on your homepage, and you've only got 2.7 seconds or as long as it takes to scroll on your mobile,
Yeah.
then you've lost a visitor.
You're just going to be another of those parts of the bounce stats, aren't you, that Google Analytics?
Yeah, and the stats show that 97% or thereabouts of visitors leave a site without taking no action at all, and never to return. Well, that's
exactly.
an opportunity.
And and then look, this is dealing with all the key things, isn't it? It's engageable, but it's a video, and as we know, the reason that Google paid all that money for YouTube was for a reason. Video still is the most is still by far the most clickable, most engaged media that we've got out there, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean there is a stat that's escaping me right now, but let me think. What is it? It's something like 94% of information gleaned from a video is retained.
Yes, I have heard that before. Yeah,
against 10% when read from the text.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
That's a huge difference. So if you can get that information out, in other words, what you want your visitor to do, and then have the call to actions buttons there right front and center in front of them, then that should increase your conversions on the website no end.
Cool. Okay.
That's the aim.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for showing us that. That's good. I mean, it brings it. I understand that. I think anyone will get that. And I'm guessing I'm right in thinking there, Tim, is it possible? I mean, we're talking about the agent's own website as the obvious place, but if agents are a bit more sophisticated marketing and they have things like landing pages, there'd be no reason they could not put it on there, is there?
They can put the widget wherever they want.
Okay.
Anywhere where you can put a bit of code, you can have a widget.
Okay, cool. And talk to me, obviously, in terms of, I mean, being honest, are there similar products out there? I mean, clearly this, I haven't seen anything like this in this industry at the moment. What's the state of play out there in the wider world, though?
Yeah, well, as I said, there's lots of different types of widgets out there, and bots as well. You know, you've got your messenger bots, you've got your live chat widget. You've got video widgets.
Yeah.
There's none that really that I've come across that combine the video with your buttons for chat in the way that we do here.
Okay, cool. And in an estate agency specific case, isn't it? Again, this is one of the main things about it, is you're going to be focusing on this industry, and more as that experience builds up as well, that widget will become ever more relevant, won't it?
Absolutely, yes. It's interesting times, and what we're finding is that it's all about personalization these days. So you know, myself included, I'm quite a shy guy, but you know, I'm having to do things like this.
Funny enough, don't worry, I'm not. So I'm comfortable with this. Don't worry, I'll look after you. But that was a good point. Is that digitization needs to bring that personalization? Otherwise, it's quite cold, isn't it? And that's where video has that wonderful, you know, that personal, by definition, that personal touch, doesn't it? If it's done right.
Yeah, yeah. It's I suppose, you know, you think about films and TV ads and things, they all tell a story.
Yeah.
And your website should actually tell a story.
Yeah.
It should tell a story about you and your, you know, why it is you do what you do. And in the old days, the old websites, they were just like bookends, really.
Yeah.
You know, brochures. Well, that's not good enough in today's world. You know, we all want to be entertained in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. And I'm not saying that you use the ConversePop to entertain people, but you certainly need to show your personality. Yeah. Because people are buying into the personality. It's the know, like, and trust element of online marketing.
And it can bring those CTAs to life on every single page, can't it? So if you have a particularly vibrant land and new homes department, you can again get the land and new homes fella to, you know, in giving his, you know, this, what I love about this isn't going to half sort out people to get their elevator pitch right, aren't they? Because I'm guessing what's the optimum length again for this? It's going to still be quite short, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we give up to 90 seconds to.
Yeah, that feels right.
For each video. But in reality, the shorter the better. Yeah. You know, if you can have a nice, succinct message, then that's really the object of the whole thing. But it depends as to the message that you're trying to convey, as to how short it should be. You know. Yeah,
okay, cool. So to give us an idea in terms of the cost here, is this a mid-range product, kind of sort of, you know, 100 quid plus? Is it below 100 pounds, which is that sweet spot for PropTech? Where do you sit on the spectrum of kind of pricing?
We've pitched this very competitively because it's just one tool within our armory, and in the world that we're currently living in, we want as many people to experience ConversePop as possible. So we've pitched it at for a single bubble at £49 a month.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's nice.
That gives you unlimited opportunities to change your video. You know, so you can go in and change your video at any time.
And the whole idea, we didn't have a look at the back because we'll do that in future follow-ups there, Tim, but they can do all this themselves. They administer. Oh, yeah. This isn't like a managed service where you go to a web or design company and then there's lots of toing and froing. They can literally create this themselves.
No, once you've put the piece of code that relates to that particular bubble onto your website,
yeah,
that's the only time you need to touch your website.
Wow. Cool.
Once that's done, the dashboard, the ConversePop dashboard, you can go in there and change the you can change the branding, you can change the call to actions, you can change the video.
So in that way then, Tim, what you're saying is you can actually keep the messaging. Again, there's nothing more boring than looking at a website that's, you know, palpably out of date. But with this, you know, whether that's changing it for a seasonal, let's say changing it to a Christmas message, updating people of opening, closing hours, and then, you know, please drop us line here, or even better things like last year, we had the stamp duty obviously winding down, you know, that giving that extra little bit of urgency there just to get in touch before whatever it is absolutely possible.
Absolutely. I mean, last month I put a Valentine's one up there, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, so yes, it's, you just go in and change the message in accordance with where we are in the seasons.
Well, okay, good. It gets me out of Dodge on Valentine's Day. That's an even. This is getting even better. This is getting even better, Tim.
And the videos, you know, you can store them in a video library. So So
Be using
I
it.
don't know, whatever types of messages, if you rotate them during the course of a year, you can do them once, store it, pull it down for the next time.
Almost have like just a ConversePop marketing calendar for, you know, adding and keeping that really high. Yeah, that's brilliant. That's really good. And I'm guessing, as we said before, if you're either linking back to specific pages on the website or to a landing page, you can be driving, you know, your email campaigns or your other digital campaigns all pointing back to it, so that it really does become tied up.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Nice. So if you had, sorry, my mind always does this. So if I'm thinking about here, obviously agents wanting to stay in contact with past clients and things like that, there'd be no reason if they were able to create a landing page, you know, for past clients, say, look, you know, can't believe it's been however long, you know, since we sold your property. Obviously you'll have seen that there's lots of news about what's going on in the marketplace. Please just book in with us for a quick appraisal meeting to discuss a review meeting, to discuss what's going on. That sort of stuff's just, you can do like that, can't you, really?
Yeah. That's an interesting thought. So you actually have an email campaign for past customers that goes to a specific landing page with a message,
isn't it?
A conversation, which goes back to the title of the talk we're having here. Let's start a conversation.
And see, this is why I'm so clever. Accidentally, I've led back into what you wanted us to talk about. So there you go. Well done with the title there. And okay, and that is a really good price point as well, actually, because we're not talking. This is something. What I like about this is one. Some suppliers, let's be honest, they can work really well, but it takes an eternity to get going, and you have to think about how does it get. You know, how do I integrate it with that? As you said. Quick bit of, is it just HTML code you knock onto the website, is it? Yeah, HTML code with your web provider, wherever it is, and then you've got that bubble in there, and then you have that admin toolkit that you're talking about with the ability to both create the new bubbles and indeed to see some of the stats and reporting on that.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
I mean, obviously, you know, we're here if people run into trouble or anything like that, or just want some advice on what to do with it. But generally, it's so simple that yes.
Even an idiot dressed.
I hesitated there, Simon.
Don't worry. I've always said if people can test this stuff against me and it works, then we're in a good place. And just in terms of that onboarding, crucially, you know, how easy is it to get going? For being really honest, is it something that takes, you know, a week, a month, a few months there to get the ball rolling, or is it literally something you can hit the floor running as soon as you get that kind of HTML code in there? That seems to be the only technical blocker there is, isn't it?
Oh,
bless you,
Simon.
Bless you.
Oh, that came on me. Well, you know what? The biggest block is, as I said before, if you're not comfortable in being in front of the camera.
Oh right, it's literally just
that's the biggest block, you know. But
don't worry,
you're comfortable sitting in front of the camera and scratching your face like this and just,
Tim,
talking.
You're in the
being
right
human.
No, you're in the right industry now. 10 years ago, that might be a problem. They're all shameless these days.
Exactly. So that's how quick it can be.
Okay.
You know? Because you don't need any fancy kit. Within the back end, you can record directly.
Yeah, cool. And what's a good next step then, Tim, to get in contact? Obviously via the wonderful, go to the ConversePop landing page, people, on obviously Kerfuffle, you know, see more further information about that there. There's a contact us button, obviously, and we'll pass on that to Tim.
Yep.
Is that the best way to sit on a quick demonstration with you to understand how this all works?
They don't need a demonstration, they've just had one. That's how simple it is. Okay. So no, yeah, I mean, if they want a demonstration, of course, Simon. But one thing we haven't mentioned is that we've gone one better for Kerfuffle members.
Oh, I did. Sorry, I did ask you for that. Obviously, yes. I always try to look after our Kerfuffle members. And actually, you've got a stonking deal here, haven't you? I mean,
yeah, we've put in a special deal at £30 a month, but only for the first 100.
First 100, that's absolutely excellent. There you are. You've been set the expectation level. Don't moan if you're Mr. 101. Get straight back to us and do it. That's great. I mean, that's almost 50% off, isn't it? So that's a fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, that puts this into no-brainer category, really, doesn't it? As far as
about a month or £360 for the year, and that's it. So a yearly payment, you're getting 2 months free.
Well, that's really, really good. So let me just thinking about this then. So the 3 takeaways, as I see it, you know, it's talking about how best you can market your reputation, getting that instant attention grab, isn't it? It's easy to use. You've got, obviously, it's very flexible in terms of the different ways you can do it. But I suppose the most critical one after all this, yes, it's a digital product, but it's got that human touch, hasn't it? Which, of course, is the key driver for this. And you'll know it yourselves, people. If you've ever probably skip past most of my webinars and things like that, but if you've experienced that yourself, where you know you've got to make a decision on something very quickly, then I think you've got to agree that if you've got a tool like ConversePop there, it's only going to increase your chances of engaging with the brand, isn't it?
Absolutely. That's the whole aim.
Is there any potential for this kind of to go on to? I'm just trying to think how it would even work on social. You've still got to have a digital website at the moment, haven't you? Or you've got to have a website there. There's you couldn't get it working, for example, working with Facebook at the moment or anything like that, could you?
No. The only thing you could do there is. No, not really.
As you click through to it from the website, then it kicks off straight away. So it's much the same thing anyway, isn't it? I was trying to be too clever there. Well, look, I think that's really, really cool. As you said before, what is it? Viewers retaining 94% of the information when they see a video, compared to 10% when they're seeing text. You can't argue with those figures. Everyone knows it yourself.
Yeah.
Tim, I think that's really, really useful. Anything else we need to know about the application? Otherwise, just to get in touch. And indeed, doing that, can they download it straight from the website, or do they have to just get in touch with you first?
Well, the way we've put it together is that we've put a special page up for Kerfuffle members, and so nice simple payment process. And once they're paid, it'll take you through to
all the way through there
to the product. Yeah.
Cool. Well, we'll just get in touch with us, people. We'll put that in out there. And as I said, please let us know. What I'm really excited about, actually, if I'm honest here, Tim, is we could talk like this for half an hour now and everything else. We're still not going to guess the 1,000,001 ways that our people are going to use this, obviously going down. And once you've actually got that community of agents doing it, it's going to be even more exciting, isn't it? Which is brilliant.
I think so. Yes, it's an exciting tool. I mean, it's. As I said, it's just another quiver in your bow. Yeah. Is that the right phrase?
No, it is. Normally I get those wrong. I was
I've got brain dead. It's Friday afternoon.
Don't worry about that. I was still just giggling because when you were talking about exciting tool, I've often been described as that as well. So from one exciting tool to another was how I was going to close. But you beat me with that, with the quiver in the bow. Yeah, it is. It's great. And marketeers everywhere. I think that's good. Look, Tim, for today, thank you very much for giving us an overview. Guys, get in contact. Have a look at ConversePop on the site. And please drop him a line because it's the first 100 only. Get that special price for Kerfufflers. So today, thank you very much.
Thank you. Cheers everyone. Bye.